On the very first day, this teacher found a student standing inside a trash can. When he asked why, the boy said, "The teacher says I'm trash and can't learn anything, so she made me stand in the trash can." Hearing this, the new teacher introduced himself and asked, "What's my name?" The boy replied,
"Mr. Clark."
At that, the teacher said,
"See, you just learned something.
"You're no longer trash." In fact, this was the same teacher who had turned a small village school into the #1 in the city, but now he had come to New York. Here, schools dismissed him as an uneducated village teacher and turned him away at the door. Finally, he got a job at one school, but he deliberately chose the class known as New York's most devilish class, a class that had made several teachers cry and quit every year. On the first day, the kids showed him hell. At the signal of the class leader, Shamika, no one listened to him. When he stepped out after class, his car had been vandalized with paint mocking him. The next day, Clark used that same paint to repaint the entire classroom himself and told the kids, "This is how you use paint properly." But it had no effect on the children. Clark made some rules, but no one followed them. When the lunch door was locked, the kids had to line up. Shamika tried to cut in. So Clark said, "If even one breaks a rule, everyone gets punished. No lunch for anyone today." Reluctantly, Shamika went back to her place. Clark thought maybe things would change now. But the next day, the kids trashed the entire classroom, scrawled curses on the walls, and no one did their homework. Seeing this, Clark's patience snapped, and for the first time, he yelled fiercely at the kids. Everyone froze in shock. Clark himself was stunned at what he'd done. He quietly left the class, his spirits shattered. But the next day, when the principal entered the class with a new teacher, he saw Clark already there with 20 bottles of milk on his desk. Clark told the kids, "For every minute you study quietly, I'll drink 1 bottle of milk until I throw up." Tempted by the idea of seeing the teacher vomit, that army of mischief makers sat down to study quietly for the first time in their lives. If anyone tried to cause trouble, the others silenced them. Time passed. The milk bottles emptied, and knowledge filled the blackboard. When the last bottle was finished, New York's worst class had learned a lesson for the first time. Clark pretended to vomit, and the whole class burst into laughter. After that, he learned jump rope with the kids, turned tough history into rap songs to teach them, and went to Shamika's house to handle her little brothers so she could have time to study. In this effort to connect with the children, Clark's health deteriorated, and one day he fainted right in class. He had pneumonia, and the doctor ordered 2 weeks of rest. But from the hospital, Clark sent video recordings to his class. When the principal peeked in, he was astonished. The same devilish kids were now studying diligently even without a teacher. When Clark recovered and returned, only 1 week remained until the final exam. He explained to the kids that this wasn't just a test, but a chance to change their lives. Exam day arrived, and when the results came, a miracle had happened. Every single child in the class passed, and the class's overall score was the highest in the school. One stubborn teacher with his unique thinking had changed the fortunes of those kids whom the world had discarded as trash.